With one simple decision, in late 2022, Wizards of the Coast has lost more than they will ever truly realize. I wonder how Wizards of the Coast is feeling right now. They're not celebrating in victory like the players are, but do they truly understand what they've lost? Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thanks again for being here on my channel with me today. Because there's a lot going on in the world of Magic each and every day, but this is one of those moments that is going to stand out for all time in the history of Magic the Gathering. The time the players stood together, banned against the company, and said no. By now, a lot of you have probably watched some of the other videos out there about those sales figures that came out for the 30th anniversary packs. I didn't bother doing a separate video on it. I just think it needs kind of a recap, not a big long form explanation. But if those numbers are true, that is really telling of how powerful the player base is in Magic the Gathering when they unite against what the company was doing, what they've done. But now that it's happened, how likely is Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast to go into a board meeting, sit down, go around the big ivory table, and discuss what actually happened and what went wrong? I doubt they're going to do it in the proper way. They'll look at it in terms of sales figures. They're going to look at liabilities of what they did, but not the actual voices that were said. The conversations that happened from the player side. Are they actually going to examine all the comment sections from all the YouTube content creators, from all the people who spoke out about what was going on? I doubt it. Are they going to reflect on all the bad press they got in the news, the downfall of their stock shares? I doubt it. Not the way they should. And that brings you around to realizing that companies like this will probably have to go through these same mistakes again. If you don't learn from the past, you're bound to repeat it. And if they want a proper dissection of what's going on, all they have to do is read everyone's stuff. Take the time to respect your players and look what happened. Now, when I'm talking about what they lost, because they've lost more than they realize, and a lot of players are kind of starting to key into that. When you're not buying sealed product, and that is the bread and butter of what Magic does right now. When the company puts out sealed product in any form, they're hoping that a certain amount is sold because they know it's going to the secondary market, but so many players now are turned off by what they've done. Some turned off for a lifetime, some turned off by particular products. Jumpstart anybody? That this is just going to go that route now. Players are going to be more and more conservative. And to win back their trust, Wizards has such a long road ahead of them that they don't realize how bad it is. They can't see all the damage done down the highway yet. They haven't gotten there. They're still trying to figure what just happened. Why didn't it sell? What's going on? That's what they're going through. Denial. That's the stage they're at right now. Remember all those steps you have to go through in life? Denial is where they're at right now. And when they reflect on this and take a look and see how much damage they've done, when they see the lower sales figures quarter after quarter now, they're going to blame it on a bad economy. And yeah, that's a little bit to blame. But really, that's not it. That's a piece of it, like a piece of any puzzle. There's smaller factors all around you. Anyone saying differently is lying to you or trying to sell you something different. And yeah, some particular products might do a little better than others. But the players know that everything gets reprinted all the time. There's no timeline or time schedule to how they reprint things so the values go down. You know, this is a Hot 10 video today. And I'll go through and I'll show you the hottest selling cards in Magic this week. And it's surprising that the numbers have picked up a bit, but not really. Not to the level they were at before all these announcements came out. And that's just more telling than you really need to go anywhere else. When you take a look at my channel, I show you these sales figures of the sales I can actually track and get numbers for. Sure, it's just a small cross-section of what's going on out there. But when you look at it long enough, the data still compiles. Week after week, month after month. And yeah, it's a lot of counting. And you start realizing the damage Wizards has done to its own brand is permanent right now. It's sticking like glue and nobody's forgiving them. When you see the lower sales week after week, and they're just Now they're kind of stabilizing now, but generally speaking, they're all still way lower than they were than for a set like Kamigawa or even New Capenna at the beginning. Way lower. Even the beginning of Dominaria had such strong sales. Thousands and thousands and thousands. And here you're like, ooh, it's not so great. But that'll bring us, by the way, to Sunday's video on the Hot 10. You don't want to miss the Sunday reserve list edition of the Hot 10 because there is some crazy stuff going on you're not going to want to miss. And we're going to discuss that tomorrow. But yeah, it's kind of one of those funky things. So I think when we reflect on this, we as players will realize we had one voice, we could stand together, and that's awesome. It really is to me. It stands out to how the power of the player base can actually be a very unifying factor, and that they shouldn't have ignored the community of Magic the Gathering. And they did. And we gathered. And we destroyed them. Sorry, I can't help myself. I'm so proud of us as a group. But it's going to take them time to look back on this. So I think it's good. I think they're not going to learn their lesson. They're going to try to get people to hype up other sets coming up, like the remastered products, which by themselves will be fun to play. But the reprint schedule is so crazy. Like, do I care about any of the cards coming up? Maybe for the artwork, but not for the price or the value. I know in the States it's cheaper than it is here in Canada. In Canada, we're paying a lot more than they do. But that's going to reflect, and people aren't going to buy it if it's that overpriced. It's just the way it's going to be. It's going to be an interesting time this next 12 months. So I'm going to be with you guys. We're going to be talking about it, and I want to see people's comments today, just reflecting on this and how you think it's going to go. I think it matters that we keep talking about this and reminding ourselves how we're going to make our choices, because a smarter player base is good for everyone, and we can do it. So let's see what these Hot 10 cards are. Let's count this down from number 10 to number 1 and find out exactly what these sales figures look like in the new world of Magic the Gathering. Number 10 is Swiftfoot Boots, and that's from Magic 2012 with 583 sales this week. Pretty respectable numbers for the new world we're living in. And number 9 is the Haywire Might, 601 sales. February 25th to December 2nd of 2022. Again, this card shows a lot of promise just because of the multiple effects it can pull off. Great card. Number 8 this week is the Brotherhood's End extended art version. And this is a pretty nice card. 812 sales this week. Market price of $5.19 US. Starting to peak a little bit, and for good reason. You get to choose one. It's a 3 casting cost sorcery. And you know what? That's not bad because you get to pick and choose. It's like a choose your own adventure. Remember AFR? Man, I missed that. Number 7 this week is, of course, Loran, the Third Path. This card continues to see play, and for good reason. Comes into play, destroys an artifact or enchantment, and of course you and an opponent can draw a card. I've used this extensively inside Arena right now to see its playability, and it does work very well. And of course, 826 sales this week is no slouch. The price has collapsed since its pre-release, and it's finding a home at around the $3 Canadian mark. Number 6 this week is, of course, Mishra, claimed by Gix. And that's because, let's face it, it's an amazing card. It's a lot of fun. The price is still going a little topsy-turvy. I expect it to settle in at around $25 by the time things are all said and done. Even though the market price right now is $22.22, more playability coming up in future sets is going to make this card see a lot more action in the new year. 1,008 sales this week. This is the kind of card that people really don't know what's going to happen until later, but I'm seeing enough playability in the card that I can say it's going to be a lot of fun. Number 5 this week is Urza, Lord Protector, 1,283 sales, and just like Mishra, there's a good reason for it. I've tried to find some ways to keep this card alive, but I found really I've just got to get a playset of 4 and 4 inside my deck, wear out the cards around them, and then you pop this on the board late game. And of course, you can bring it back with the Sarah Paragon, which is a nice card. So I don't mind throwing this out and letting it get killed, as long as I can access it later on in the game with my graveyard. Number 4 is Ashnod's Altar, the Brothers War Retro Frame. Market price of only $5.08. 1,383 sales this week. Guys, a card like this is a little bit of a surprise, but I really shouldn't be because it's still great artwork, great working card. Everyone can use it. It's a great card to have around and so inexpensive. The players will continue to pick up cards like this in the future just because they're great to look at and they still have playability. Number 3 this week is the Third Path Iconoclast. I think I pronounced that right. 1,499 sales. We're getting a little higher on the sales here near the end. A little bit of peaking, which is nice. Market price is super cheap. I actually have not seen a lot of this card in play right now in the decks I've been using. I'm not playing a blue-red, so I haven't really seen it coming around. I'll be curious to see how it plays out longer range, but right now, I'm just looking to see if I see it get any play in my local game stores. Hasn't come up yet at all. Number 2 this week is, of course, the Phyrexian Dragon Engine. 1,921 sales this week from the 25th to the 2nd of December. The market price is kind of bottomed out and is leveling off now at $4.26 US. Goes along with Mishra, of course, perfectly melding together to make that nice combo of a giant dragon. All right, guys, you ready? The number 1 card this week, interesting enough, is the Mightstone and Weakstone. 2,306 sales is a respectable number for a card like this. Again, the price is bottomed out. The market's at $4.38. This card has more playability than people realize. If you use the other version of Urza and you keep copying this card and sacking it, that's drawing 2 cards every turn, or of course giving creatures -5/-5, and you can play it off multiple times if you have ways of ramping mana. I've used this combination numerous times. I've got to say it works very effectively mid to late game when players have established the play state of the board, and this can just destroy people. So these were your hottest selling cards in Magic this week. The Hot 10 is complete. How do you guys feel about the list you're seeing before you? A few cards that I gotta say I'm pretty impressed with, which is Urza and Mishra as melding cards holding on, but then the number 1 and number 2 spot being the Dragon Engine and of course the Weakstone Mightstone. This is kind of fascinating to see because they're artifacts, generic, and they can actually fit into a lot of decks, so there might be more abuse waiting to happen with those cards in formats like Commander. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, and thanks for being here today, guys. Shop smart, shop S-Smart. We'll see you all tomorrow for the Reserveless Hot 10, and that is going to be a conversation you don't want to miss. Hey guys, a big shout out to all the fantastic patrons on the channel who make everything happen here, guys. Thanks again for being the supporters of my channel. You're the ones who make it all happen. Thanks again. Well, where are we? Oh, camera's up here. I keep forgetting, guys. I was looking down here, but you're up here. Thanks for being here at the end of the video, guys. Yes, I had a cold. You probably could tell during the video, but don't worry. Colds don't really keep me down. Just kind of clogs the nostril one side. What can I say? I wonder how much comprehension Wizards has to the damage they've done to their brand, because that I think is fascinating to see what will happen later on. It's going to take them time to unpack all this. And as I sit here lounging late at night, by the way, because it took me forever to get filming done this week. Work was super hectic. I think it's kind of funny to see what's coming down the pipe for them, that they may not even be aware of how low their sales are going to be, how much they affected their own market from one poor decision. Crazy. So thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for hanging out with the Mox Man. Put a good old boomstick in the comments section, or boomstick. I was gonna say Necronomicon, but no, I feel like a boomstick right now. I'm feeling kind of saucy that way. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. I'm just gonna go right here and just click this off.